Welcome to the JJ Think Tank. Hello and welcome back to another video on the JJ Think Tank. This one, I want to talk about Yuval Noah Harari's latest book, Nexus. Nexus. Here it is. And it was a great book, I have to say. Overall, Harari was quite balanced in it. I mean, Harari, he does hold a few dodgy views, in my opinion. I don't know if he still holds them or not, because judging by this book, it seems like he has changed his mind a little bit. He provided a very pro-human perspective on the information age, on what we are going through. He criticised equally all religions. Perhaps he criticised Christianity a bit more. This is what I noticed, but at least he criticised also the other two major Abrahamic religions, and yes, he provided a lot of fascinating insights about the time we find ourselves in, and I'd like to share my thoughts. I wrote this article not long ago, so it's fresh in my mind. I read this book a couple of days ago, so hopefully this video will be better because everything will be quite fresh in my mind. So yes. But before we dive into my article, I'd like to talk a bit more about Harari himself. So he is a Jewish, atheist. Seems like to me, or Buddhist, atheist. I don't know exactly. I don't know his position really, to be honest. At the end of the day, but I'll define him for the purposes of this video. It might be a wrong definition, but yes. Anyway, I think he is an atheist Buddhist, and he is a historian. He's famous for his other books, Homo Deus, and Homo Sapiens, the book Sapiens and Homo Deus, I think. I haven't read the second one, Homo Deus. I haven't read this one. I have read Sapiens, which was not bad. It was all right. It was a decent book. So yes. Regarding some of his views, so perhaps he's changed his position now, but in the past I saw videos of him talking about how God doesn't exist, humans, they don't have free will, we are hackable animals. It seemed to me, when I listened to these speeches of his, he was excusing the evil nature of this power structure. He was basically being an apologist for all of this tyranny, yes? But then when I read this book, he criticizes big tech, he criticizes social media companies, he criticizes tyrants, he criticizes religion for being too certain of itself, for not recognizing human fallibility, which it's hard to disagree with this. I think he is right. I mean, to a degree, he is right. Yes, but of course, sometimes I disagreed with him, and in the past, of course, I disagreed with him. So yes. Now let's start talking about my article and what Harari himself said. And I began my article with this quote. This is what Harari said. As we have seen again and again throughout history, in a completely free information fight, truth tends to lose. To tilt the balance in favour of truth, networks must develop and maintain strong self-correcting mechanisms that reward truth-telling. So yeah, I mean, yes, I agree with him here. Now there is definitely this free for all. Yes, everyone can have their say online, and because that there is a cacophony of voices, it's hard to reach the truth. Yes, it's much harder. But I think when you are really genuine in your approach to discovering a truth, if you try and reach the truth with intentionality, then it's possible, I think. And here I would agree with Harari that in order for the truth to arise, the self-correcting mechanisms have to exist. We need to, even though we don't really live in a democracy, we need to cherish the idea of democracy, because democracy facilitates and rewards truth telling, whereas other political systems don't. Yes. Because these political systems they fall in such as authoritarianism, etc., or in general tyranny. Yes, these political systems they serve only power and order. Yes, so here obviously I agree with Harari. But anyway, moving on. I won't repeat myself here because I already said this a few moments ago. So in general, what was this book about, Nexus? So it was basically about how information networks shape our worldview. And now definitely information networks are shaping our worldview. We are constantly interacting with social media, with the internet, and our consumption of information by default it shapes our worldview. And Harari, he charts the rise of various information networks throughout history. Ending up obviously with the new AI information network, because also AI is making more of an impact on our world. So before I go into the more grand ideas, I'd like to share some anecdotal information. So the first is this, and I've been fascinated by the desert recently, by the landscape of the desert. And the metaphor of our mind being like a desert. Our inner world is like a desert, and the inner mind, the inner desert of the mind. Yes, and Harari he wrote this down in his book. I think he was being both metaphorical and perhaps even literal. This is what he said: that only in deserts, tattered fragments of the old reality made up of atoms rather than bits or bytes, information network, bytes or bits, yes, computer bits, could be found. And this was a meaningful section for me because I've striven, to enter the inner desert of my mind, and I have this plan, I have this dream to go on a pilgrimage in a desert, perhaps next year, perhaps in 2 years, and yes, I think perhaps the desert is the literal desert. Yes, it's where the real still can be found, definitely. I know Slavoj Žižek has this book called "Welcome to the Desert of the Real," and isn't that a line from the film The Matrix? Welcome to the desert of the real. So it's interesting. This paragraph definitely had an effect on me, and I guess reflecting on this passage, it made me come to the conclusion that technological development, information overload, these are processes which can definitely slowly intrude into our lives more and more. And if we do not have the right tools, the habits, ideas, or thought processes to counteract this information overload, then we are in trouble. We need to maintain our distance between technology and the amount of information we consume. So, but anyway, moving on. So let's talk about the more grand ideas that Harari shares. So an important analysis performed by Harari concerns the holy books. So we've got the Quran, we've got the Torah, we've got the Bible. I guess these are the three main holy books. Then we have other ones. Talmud. Harari argues that these books and the attendant beliefs were obviously the main sources of information networks in the past, because they produced intersubjective realities. This is a key term, a key concept that Harari talks about, intersubjective realities. And without doubt this is true, because the mind shapes the world, yes? The mind shapes the world. The environment shapes us, but also we reflect our mind back onto the environment around us. And so if people all shared the same views about God, if they all read these books, these holy books, then of course they would create a similar intersubjective reality. So here, I guess, the key question is whether you are religiously minded or not. Because Harari argues that these intersubjective realities are a myth. Because he's an atheist, yes, he doesn't believe in a supernatural, in God, etc. These books are just a product of human work. Look, I guess at this moment in time, it just comes down to a choice. Either you believe or not, or you don't believe, I think, personally. This is my view. Personally, I think I don't like this concept, intersubjective realities. I don't know. I mean, humans have to be connected in some way, right? What's wrong with being connected to each other? If these intersubjective realities are a myth, then what binds us? Something has to bind us, yes. And I would say from the off that that God is real. I think God is real. I believe in Jesus. I think Jesus rose from the dead. So here straight away, I can't really agree with Harari's analysis. Now of course, moving on, I did agree with Harari. I did agree with him when he criticizes some of these religions. Well, he criticized all three of these religions in how they used the texts from the religion, etc., to spread abuse. Yes, and undoubtedly this is true. We can think of all these religious wars, violence, persecution, war, torture. People were tortured. So during the Middle Ages, Harari talks about how various individuals were accused of witchcraft and of having an allegiance to Satan, and they were tortured for this. But of course, many of them weren't allied to Satan, and it couldn't really be proved. Yes. I mean, this war, etc., violence, persecution, torture, it also took place in atheistic regimes, such as during the Stalinist era, during the Maoist era. So it has nothing to do really with religion. It's to do with human nature. I think these religions were just distorted to justify all these actions. So the more you reflect on these topics, you can't help but to have a comedic view. It's just a human comedy, really. A tragic human comedy. And yes, where else did I disagree with Harari? I disagreed with him with his suggestion of Satan not existing, because the greatest trick ever pulled by the devil is to convince you that he doesn't exist. You know? I think this is his greatest trick. Because if you think he doesn't exist, then you are just led astray. You don't distinguish good from evil. Everything just becomes relative. You don't hold the line. Yes. So moving on. Now, this is where I agreed with Harari the most. 100%. Harari has a positive view of science. I agree with him. If science is positively pursued with virtue and the idea of falsification in mind, then it's undoubtedly true that science has a positive impact on society and civilization. Science has eradicated a lot of diseases. Science has improved the material status of vast swathes of humanity, and this is true, definitely. This is the beauty of science, and the beauty of science is also based on this, that science recognizes human fallibility and human ignorance, and this is expressed in the scientific process known as falsification. So I believe Karl Popper introduced this concept to the world. Karl Popper, philosopher of science, and he stated that if a theory is not falsifiable, if it cannot undergo the process of falsification to check whether it's true or not, then it's not a scientific theory. It's just speculation. But yes, at the same time, we need to remember that scientists are human beings, and science can be used also for evil ends. And we can think of the atomic bomb, Agent Orange, used in Vietnam, environmental degradation, etc., etc. I could provide a lot of other examples. Yes, so yes. But now I want to talk about where I definitely disagreed with Harari the most. And this is his analysis of populism and populists. So Harari views populists as demagogues who destroy the self-corrective mechanisms of democracy. I mean, firstly, I would argue we don't even live in a democracy anymore. I mean, democracy is possible. It still functions in countries like Switzerland or in city-states. Maybe we can think of Monaco. Monaco is an independent city-state, I believe. You know, places like this, there's more democracy. But as soon as you try to introduce democracy onto an area that has a larger landmass, yes, then the democracy starts to misfire. It doesn't function properly, and democracy is just a facade. We vote, yes, we do vote. supposedly we have a say, but really in the background, all our governments are ruled by these multinational corporations that are allied with the banks, with institutions, and we don't live in a democracy. And I view populists and populism as positive processes. I view populists as people who are having a positive impact on the world, and I view populism as a positive movement. Because I think populists, they're actually the good actors who try to enforce national sovereignty in opposition to the overreach of power by the globalist corporate class. This is my interpretation. And this is why I support all the populists around the world. Marine Le Pen, Erdogan, Viktor Orban. In Poland, we've got Konfederacja, we've got Grzegorz Braun, Mensen. In the UK, I guess maybe Rupert Lowe. In America, Trump. I guess we could class him as a populist to a degree. Maybe Trump is also serving the corporate globalist class. I don't know. It's hard to come to a conclusion sometimes. But yeah, I think in general, populists are actually the good actors. So here I definitely disagree with Harari. And yes, he contradicts himself later on when he correctly points out that true democracies only function in localized areas such as city-states or small countries. Harari then says that the first experiment in democracy that took place on a larger scale was actually the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. So this was an interesting fact that he brought up, and I've heard about this idea from other thinkers and on Twitter. So yes, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, it was one of the first countries, I guess we could call this Commonwealth one country, that tried to introduce democracy on a larger scale. Overall, I guess the democracy was still weak because power still lied with the noble class, but this noble class made up nearly 20% of the population. So it wasn't a monarchy. And Harari argues that this was possible due to the arrival of print, and print was a mass communication device. And now we have a similar process taking place with the new cybernetic society. It's a kind of a revolution that allows us to spread information more quickly, and when information is able to be exchanged more quickly, it can facilitate more democracy. I understand the argument. Possibly. I'm still a bit of a pessimist, to be honest. I think by and large we don't really have a say. I think a lot of the nearly all of the governments around the world are captured by these globalist multinational corporations, and they have a lot of power. And it's hard to break up this power, really. It's hard to break up the power of the banks and the financial institutions. So yes. Now I'd like to talk about big tech, and Harari, he shows how big tech is having a negative impact on our civilization, but both a positive impact but also a negative one. So he talks about he talks about Facebook's role and the algorithms of Facebook in causing ethnic cleansing. So this ethnic cleansing took place in Myanmar, and Facebook and the algorithms were responsible for this to a degree, because the algorithm pushed content that was kind of violent in speech and rhetoric. So I didn't hear about this, but this was new to me. Yes, in general, social media companies, big tech, get away with not paying enough tax, and they don't take responsibility for the methods of data collection. So the data that they collect can be used to thereafter manipulate us. And then the last point was the scariest one. We all know about this, is how we're being surveilled. So in America, we've got the NSA, the CIA, and these institutions actually kill people based on metadata. So this is an allusion to Skynet, which appears in Terminator. And then also we've got Musk's Neuralink, which is a brain chip, yes. This is also another dangerous encroachment on our privacy. I doubt people will take this brain chip. I really doubt it. I mean, surely people are not that stupid. Surely they will realise that they're taking a massive risk if they were to take this brain chip. I mean, I can't even imagine it being possible. How can you put a brain chip into someone's brain, and not cause something to misfire? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I support these brain chips for people who have genuine illnesses. Perhaps this brain chip it's worth having in such situations and life circumstances, but otherwise, no. So yes. Now to finish, I want to talk about how we can fight back. Yes, because at the moment, these information networks, social media, etc., it's harnessed by government, by those in power, to create order rather than to search for truth. This is reflected in the algorithms also. They promote outrage, clickbait, as opposed to genuine human development, cooperation. And these social credit systems that they are planning to introduce, they will bring comfortable harmony rather than uncomfortable freedom. I guess it's a fine balancing act, yes, because we also don't want to fall into anarchy, where there is no order. But Harari shares these 4 principles, and this is what he had to say. The 4 principles are benevolence, and this refers to how data, about how the data that is collected should be used to benefit and not manipulate. Decentralization is about there not being only one center of decision making. I think this is the most important principle. Simultaneity, another interesting one, is how both the governors and the governed should be watched. Definitely, this is key. We need to know exactly what the people in power are doing, yes? And finally, change and rest discusses our need to reflect on the processes occurring, the general processes, yes. So I liked how he boiled down these principles and how we can deal with the new information and AI age. Yes, a lot is changing in our world. So yes, and I ended my article with this idea that we are not technologically determined. Humans still have a say and can introduce self-corrective mechanisms to prevent totalitarianism from arising. So I mean, I guess here Harari contradicts himself, because in the past he said that humans don't have free will. But now suddenly he's saying that we have a say. We can introduce self-corrective mechanisms. So this is Harari. He doesn't have a solid worldview. He contradicts himself often. I guess this is why he's interesting, because he you know he I guess he's not biased to one worldview. Perhaps he's I guess genuinely seeking the truth. Perhaps. And when you are on this journey, you do contradict yourself often. I've noticed this in myself as well. So yes, I mean, it's nothing wrong with this. I think if you do contradict yourself often, I guess this is a sign that you are thinking. So yes. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Once again, thank you for listening. I don't want to talk more about this. 30 minutes, a bit of a long one, but I think it was an important topic to cover. If you're still listening, thank you. I really appreciate it. You could have spent your time elsewhere, but you decided to hang around here on the JJ Think Tank and listen to what I have to say. If you enjoyed the video, like and comment. Let me know what you think about Harari, about this book, maybe if you read it, and in general what's going on. If you are a new viewer, consider liking and subscribing. It will help me grow the channel. But yes, once again, thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best. Take care. Fire in the hole! Thank you for listening to the JJ Think Tank. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.